Hello everyone, I decided to do a quick makeup tutorial since a lot of people always ask me how I do my makeup. So, the first thing I do is moisturize. It helps keep my skin somewhat smooth, What I'm doing there is I had some extra residue on my eyes. So now I'm taking a cover stick and I'm covering up any blemishes I have. Next, I move on to my foundation. I use Fit Me. So I just use my fingers to dab that on. And then I take a makeup sponge normally. And I dab that and blend it all out. Or else it looks really weird.
Makeup, but no one knows if you're a heartbreaker. But you can't say if you're a life taker. Cause you can't tell if you're not.
Alright, now I'm going to move on to contouring. I also use the Fit Me brand for this. When you blend out contour, you always want to blend it down. So I'm just attempting to make my nose look narrower there. Probably doesn't do much, but definitely I do it around my jawline since I have a very rounded, weak jaw. Until I put on powder, the contour looks a little strange. So don't worry about that, it's not going to end up looking like that afterwards. Next I move on to highlighter. This is a cream to powder highlighter and I usually just apply it with my finger. And when you blend out highlighter, you always want to try to blend it up so that it doesn't end up smearing in with your contour. The apples of your cheeks are definitely one of the most important places to put highlighter. So now I'm taking my CoverGirl pressed powder, and that will help with the contour, making it look a little bit more natural, as well as setting my foundation. So now I move on to a primer for eyeshadow. I apply that to my eyelids and then I rub it in as much as I can without, rubbing it off.
I don't really give a damn about the way you touch me.
And that will allow the eyeshadow to stick to my eyes more easily and make it less prone to rubbing off.
If I wouldn't hurt my body, baby, would you love me the same? I can feel all my bones coming back and I'm craving motion.
Okay, now that that's all rubbed in, I'm going to move on to eyeshadow. I always use the lightest color on my palette, and this e.l.f. palette, with natural colors. I use the lightest color as a highlighter. It's also very shimmery, which helps add dimension to my eyes. I'm trying to evenly cover my entire lids with that color. Next I move on to the brown shimmery color. And then we'll add depth to my creases. Okay, now I'm going to move on to this white eyeliner pencil. I apply that to my top lid, as close to the lash line as possible, and I extend it off the edge of my eyelid. That will help with making a wing later on. It acts as a guideline. Next I'm moving on to this NYX Jumbo eye pencil in the color of Milk, which I thought was kind of funny. But this eye pencil is much creamier, so it allows me to make it more pointed so that it can be used better as a guide for where my liquid eyeliner lines should go. Now that is very important to set since it's creamy. It will smear very easily if touched. Okay, next up I'm going to move on to my liquid liner. This is a very difficult step for me because I have such shaky hands. But the eyeliner I use has a very thin brush so that I can be more precise with my lines. So the first thing I do is line my top lids, extending the line off as far as the top white liner goes. And I try to make that line as thin as possible so that if any mistakes are made, I won't have to smear off a bunch of other makeup. It's very difficult to make both sides even, so I'm doing my best here. I always have a makeup wipe at hand just in case I make a mistake. Now that line extending off to the side is very important so that I can make a dramatic wing. Now this line that goes underneath my eyelashes, my bottom lashes, that will help simulate a bottom lid. The white eyeliner is essentially an extension of my eyes. So now I'm making the wings. This time I chose to go for a more blunt wing. And I drew that line a little too thick, but that's okay. The difficult part is to make the wings as even as possible, and that's why I don't fill them in to begin with, because if a mistake is made, it's much easier to wipe off a thin line than a thick line.
I'm ready, she said as she put on her shoes, and I'm down to forget if you'll say it's true. And those drapes on the wall can't.
Alright, now I've chosen to start filling those outlines in. To me, evergreen wasn't such a bad dream. Oh, and sometimes things the wings allow for somewhat of a doe-eyed look, which is what I am going for because I feel like it makes me look cute. Is the word I'm looking for there. Trying to make the tip of my wing more pointed. Another challenge with wings is making the lines smooth. So when you close your eyes, the line from the tip of the wing to the inner corner of your eye should be almost straight. Okay, now I'm filling in the other eye. Very shortly I'm going to take a white to it in order to make it look closer to the other eye, more blunt. I made that one a little bit too pointed out to the right. At this point, I'm getting close to finishing this. It does take quite a while to perfect, at least in my experience. Now I'm going to try to dry those off, and then I'm going to set them with more pressed powder, and that should help with any flaking that the dried liquid might do.
Take my body.
eyebrows, and I'm going to fill them in. I'm not going to do anything special with them, I'm just filling them in. And I use a brown pencil for that. It's pretty simple. It keeps my eyebrows in place all throughout the day when I brush it. And that's all for that. At that point I realized that I forgot my mascara. So I found that. I use Lash Stiletto by Maybelline. I'm going to curl my lashes. I usually hold that for about 10 seconds. And then I apply the mascara as evenly as possible to the top lashes. Then I do the outer edge of the bottom lashes, because if I do the parts that are completely white inside that little extra eyelid, it looks a little bit strange. Next I'm going to move on to my lips, so I take my cover stick again, and I'm going to cover up or pale my lips. And that'll allow me to give myself a smaller mouth. So now I'm taking a pinkish lipstick, and I'm going to put that in the very center of my lips. I'm going to blend that out just a little bit. And now I'm taking a clear lip gloss, and I'm going to roll that over top. That allows me to have a small mouth. And the look is finished. Thank you for watching.